Mornings can be super hectic, especially if you hit the snooze alarm 5 times and you spent the last 35 minutes watching YouTube in the shower. Don't let breakfast be an afterthought. I have 4 simple on-the-go meal ideas that you can easily grab as you're heading out the door. It doesn't matter if you eat breakfast or not. These meals are the perfect solution for someone who doesn't have a lot of time to cook and you need something with some healthy fats and proteins to keep you full for hours. And most of these you can make ahead of time, so you don't even have to mess with the stove in the morning. So let's get to cooking so I can show you how to have a slightly less stressful morning. First up are keto sausage balls. You may have heard of these before, even made them, but I have a few special ingredients in my recipe that take them from basic to incredible. And my kids love these and can't get enough of them. Start by adding 1 cup of pork panko, which is just ground up pork rinds, and you could substitute with almond flour or coconut flour if you preferred. I just really like the taste of the pork panko, and it's also 0 carbs. But you could use 1 cup of almond flour or a 1/3 cup of coconut flour in this recipe. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic, a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne, 1 pound of ground sausage. You could actually use ground turkey or chicken as a replacement. 3 ounces of softened cream cheese, 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, and I prefer to shred my own cheese just because I don't want to have that potato starch filler that's in a lot of pre-shredded cheeses, and 3 green onions that I've sliced up. Mix this together with a spoon or your hands, or you can use an electric mixer, which is my preferred way because I don't really want to play with my food right now. Once they're combined, then use a cookie scoop or your hands to roll them into 1 1/4 inch balls and then place them on a foil-lined baking sheet. These are great because you can prep them up ahead of time and store them in the fridge or freezer. You can freeze them cooked or uncooked, just line them up in a freezer-safe bag. I'll usually just refrigerate them cooked and then pull them out when I need to and reheat them either in my air fryer or the microwave. Bake in a 350-degree oven for 15 minutes, or you can air fry these at the same temperature, but it won't take quite as long. It'll be around 10 minutes. These are perfect by themselves, or you can just dip them in your favorite dip. If I'm really running late in the morning, sometimes I'll just grab a water bottle and a packet of Element Electrolytes, who's my sponsor for today's video. After a long night's sleep, you can wake up dehydrated, and this is the best way where I can actually feel energized and replenish all those electrolytes. Element has a science-backed electrolyte formula of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. They have a bunch of different flavors to choose from. They're all delicious, from citrus, watermelon, raspberry, and they don't contain any sugar or coloring. Right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single-serving packets free with any Element order. It's a great way to try all 8 flavors or just to share with a salty friend. So get yours at drinkelement.com/KetoFocus, and this is only available through my link. I'll have it down below for you as well. Again, go to drinkLMNT.com/KetoFocus. This next option is great for those who don't like to meal prep because they're not super organized. Instead, just make a smoothie. And this cucumber smoothie is super hydrating and contains 16 grams of healthy fat and only 5 net carbs, so it's going to keep you full until the next time you eat. Here we add 100 grams of cucumber, which is about 1/2 of a medium cucumber. Add that to a blender along with 50 grams of avocado, which is about 1/4 of a medium avocado. 1 cup of ice, 2 cups of nut milk, and I'm using macadamia nut milk. And for a hint of sweetness, I like to add a tablespoon of honey-flavored allulose syrup, but you could use any sweetener or just omit it if you don't want to add any sweetener to this. Blend it until smooth and just look at how creamy and frothy that is. You can even add a scoop of protein powder if you're looking for a little bit more protein in the morning. For my McDonald's fans, skip that fast food line and instead make this Keto McGriddle. Instead of pancake buns, I'm going to use waffles instead. We're going to start by adding 1 egg to a small bowl, 2 tablespoons of almond flour, a 1/2 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese, and for that syrupy McGriddle flavor, I'm going to be using a sugar-free maple syrup, and I'll have some of my favorites listed down below for you. So add in a tablespoon of that syrup, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Mix that together and then pour it into a small waffle maker and let them cook until they can easily release from the waffle maker. You don't have to add grease to your waffle maker in this recipe, especially if it's a non-stick plate on your waffle maker, but you could. They generally don't stick though, unless you haven't cooked them long enough. To assemble, add butter, egg, sausage, or bacon. You can freeze these by wrapping them in plastic wrap and storing them in a freezer-safe bag in the freezer, or you could just put them in the refrigerator if you're gonna eat them over the next few days. I have full instructions on my website, KetoFocus.com, on how you can reheat these, or I'll just have them listed down below in the description box. Next up are mini frittatas. Start by spraying a muffin tin with cooking spray. And I'm using a regular size muffin tin, but a small or mini muffin tin will work too. To a large bowl, crack in 8 eggs. And I love this recipe because I can customize it with different filler ingredients. Like if I have a certain cheese or vegetables that need to be used up because they're looking really sorry in the fridge, then we can just add that to these frittatas. Next, add in a half a cup of heavy cream, or you could use nut milk if you have a dairy allergy, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Whisk this together until they're combined. For the fillings, I'm adding in a 1/3 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 4 slices of bacon that I've already cooked and crumbled up, a 1/3 cup of chopped spinach, and 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. Mix this together until it's combined and then pour it into your muffin tins. And pour it about halfway up because as these bake, they will puff up, but then they're gonna deflate as they cool. And they'll be the perfect frittata shape. Bake at 375 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes. And these make the perfect bite-sized meal that you could just stuff in your pocket and take with you to work. I'm just kidding, don't do that, that's gross. Now if you're wondering what to make for lunch, I have some real simple keto meal ideas that are ideal for the lunch week ahead. Just click right here to watch.